guys know about Discord, right? It started off as this cozy place for gamers to chat with one another when they were playing online games together, but recently the app has revealed its true long-term purpose, which unsurprisingly is mass global surveillance. You see, back in the good old days of Discord, you could get on there by pretty much just making up a username and a password. There was no phone number verification like the app has now, and in a lot of cases you were able to use the app without even verifying an email address. So getting on the platform was very seamless, but more importantly, you could limit the amount of personally identifiable information that Discord had on you, which is a really big deal because Discord is one of these free online services, and just like Gmail, YouTube, and any other free service that's available online, you, the user, are actually the product. You and all of the data that you put through the application, it gets sold to advertisers at some point, which use this data to create more targeted advertisements to you to convince you to buy products and services that you don't really need. But now, Discord has announced that starting in March, if you don't submit photographs of your real government ID and or allow Discord to perform biometric face scans on you, then your account is going to be limited to what Discord calls the teen experience, which really just places a lot of restrictions on your account and what you're able to view. It makes it more difficult for you to send direct messages, and it just restricts your ability to talk to people on the app, which is pretty much the whole point of having that program installed in the first place. Now, we've seen this time and time again with these so-called online safety acts and other laws that governments all over the world are passing, which basically require everything that you do online to be able to be traced back to your real life identity. And of course, these laws also try to limit the access, or they just straight up outlaw things like VPNs, Tor, I2P, and any other technology that can circumvent these restrictions and or allow you to have greater anonymity online. The government keeps telling us that these laws are there to protect the children. But in reality, that's just the wrapping paper that mass surveillance campaigns are being covered up in these days, because I guess that the mass surveillance to fight terrorism excuse has just fallen out of vogue with the people recently. So everyone on Discord, especially in places like the UK and Australia that are pushing these laws the hardest, will essentially be classified as a minor until they are able to prove otherwise. And I'm sure that just like we've seen with YouTube's requirements for government IDs in order to watch restricted content, is not going to matter how old your Discord account actually is. You see, Discord was founded back in 2015, and you would think that most accounts that were created around that time would be grandfathered into this. You would assume that the users of those accounts are actually adults, or at least they're over 18, because who the hell is going to create a Discord account back in 2015 when they're 6 years old or younger? I mean, it's just crazy to think that that's happening. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who actually believe in this cope with the government IDs and believe that if you have nothing to hide, or if you aren't doing anything shady on Discord, then just giving them your ID isn't a problem, right? They're not going to do anything weird with it. Thank God that those people were not around when the Bill of Rights was being written, especially when the Fourth Amendment was being added to the Bill of Rights, the one that prevents illegal searches and seizures. Because one of the most disturbing things that I don't think people realize is that the law, especially in Western nations that are supposed to be these bastions of freedom, is so verbose and it's so complex that virtually anyone could be found guilty of a crime if you look close enough. It's really just a matter of how closely are you going to examine people's lives and their day-to-day activities. Because there's so many laws that are on the federal, state, and local levels that there's no way a single person can possibly know all of them. I mean, lawyers will literally study for decades just so that they can specialize in a particular niche of law. And even then, they probably don't understand it completely forwards and backwards. And even if you did find a lawyer, some genius lawyer out there with perfect understanding of, let's say, online communication laws as an example, all it really does to change those laws, all it takes is a stroke of the pen to change it. And that change could be buried in a 10,000-page federal budget plan that you would think has absolutely nothing to do with you. But of course it does, because it's hidden away and the people who passed the laws didn't even read it. Now, to make matters worse, a lot of this identity verification for Discord and other applications is being handled by a vendor called Persona, and one of Persona's largest investors is Peter Thiel, the founder of Palantir, which is one of the world's largest surveillance companies that holds huge contracts with the DoD, CIA, ICE, and pretty much every three-letter agency that you could possibly think of. Now, you may honestly have nothing to hide and you might not care that Discord has your ID, but what you've got to think about are the people who you are connecting with that are all over the world on Discord. Because think about it, these are not your close personal friends. The whole purpose of the app was originally for you to be able to talk to people that you're playing online games with. So you could easily get associated with someone that these three-letter agencies are targeting, that they're investigating, which then could lead to you experiencing raids, device seizures, detention, and interrogations by these three-letter agencies. And even if you're still trusting in your government to not violate your rights just because you've got caught up in an investigation, maybe you're talking to some weirdo online and you don't know that you're a weirdo, you still have to trust Discord to keep those photo IDs that they are storing in a secure place. Discord has already had a data leak less than a year ago when they started rolling out these new ID requirements. They saw 70,000 users' IDs get leaked, along with partial credit card information, as well as chat logs to Discord customer service reps. So they already have a proven track record of sensitive information falling into the wrong hands. And of course, Discord isn't the only app where this is happening. There's been an epidemic of apps that ask for government IDs for whatever reason that then end up leaking those pictures of the government IDs onto the internet for every hacker man that could possibly want them to download. The real purpose of these age checks is to just broaden the surveillance state. It's not to protect your children. The government's purpose is not to protect your children. And I find it baffling how people can still believe in this, that the government is there to protect your kids, after all that's been revealed in the Epstein files, basically laying out this global pedophile conspiracy that involves virtually every head of state all over the world. The idea that these people are going to clean up the mean streets of Discord for the better is so ridiculous that it honestly belongs in an Onion article. It's too ridiculous for the Onion article, right? All these politicians meeting on Epstein Island to talk about how they can protect your children from pedos on Discord. So if you genuinely want your children to be safer online, don't just give them an iPad to raise them for you. Be involved in their lives, especially in their online lives, or at least give enough of a damn to implement decent parental controls instead of just voting for someone to do it for you. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it to hack the algorithm, and check out my online store, based.win, where you can get my awesome merch like this based.win t-shirt or accessories for your phone or laptop. 10% store-wide discount when you pay with Monero XMR at checkout. Have a great rest of your day.